Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to the fourth live show on this channel. I'm just going to take that out because I can hear myself talking back and it sounds really weird. Thank you so much for joining me. I've just noticed, and my thumbnail had the wrong date on, so well done for getting the right date. I put the 18th, but obviously it's the 19th, so there we go. So apologies about that. Loads to get through tonight. We've got, obviously, football returning. Newcastle have a game this weekend for the first time in 3 months, which is really exciting. I'm really excited about it. I hope you are too. Welcome as well. If you're not a Newcastle fan, I assume most people are Newcastle fans on here, but there might be one or two people that aren't, and hello if you're not. You're very welcome. What else have we got? Takeover talk, obviously. That's been another interesting week on the Takeover front. Still no Takeover done, but we'll see. We'll have a chat about that. I've got some quiz questions for you. Peter Robson, who is here, I've just seen him. Yeah, hello Peter. He's set. I've picked two of his questions that he's set. I think pretty tricky actually tonight, but good ones. So have a go at that, and I might have a couple of other things for you to have a go at, and we can talk about all sorts of stuff. Longstaff's contract, for example, Project Restart, all that stuff. So there we go. So let's see who is here. So Jonathan and Andrew, good evening to you both. Always good to have you along. Ryan Hemmings, good evening. Gordon Smith's here. That's my dad. Hi, Dad. I haven't spoken to him all week, but it's nice that he's joining me tonight. Good evening, Paul, and obviously Peter I've mentioned. Good evening, Jamie. I'll come back to that in a minute, Andrew. And Colin, good evening. Mark, John as well. Good, excellent. Andrew's just posted a message there. It says, how didn't VAR step in on Wednesday? The ball was over the line by about a yard. Yeah, this was in the Villa Sheffield United game, wasn't it? And just horrendous. Like, you have all this technology and then the Hawkeye on the line fails, which is just a nightmare. And actually cost points, surely. Villa got a point when they probably shouldn't have done. So, not good. Not a good look for the Premier League. Why didn't VAR step in? I'm guessing VAR didn't step in because they haven't accounted for the fact that Hawkeye might fail. I'm guessing that's why. And if Hawkeye fails, then it's not one of the things that they can go to VAR for. I'm guessing. I don't know. But it seems absolutely daft that that is the case. So, the whole technology thing is just not quite working. I mean, Hawkeye's obviously been pretty reliable. I actually think that's a brilliant piece of technology. They use it in tennis, of course, and it's reliable as anything. But what are the chances that it actually, when it wasn't working, a close goal wasn't given? I mean, it's kind of sod's law in a way, but never mind. What do you think about that? Does anyone have a different opinion on why VAR didn't step in at that point? I'm not sure. Who knows? Yeah, okay, just a normal week. So there we go. Right, I'm gonna set one of the questions now because I think it's a pretty good question, this, and it might get you thinking. So if you like quiz questions, have a think about this one. So this is set by Peter, and there he is. Go and follow him on Twitter. He should have more followers than he does. Go and follow Peter. He's great. And this is one of the questions he set, okay? So how many World Cup winners can you name who have either played or managed Newcastle United? How many World Cup winners can you name who have either played or managed Newcastle United? I got one. There are more than one, but I only got one of them, which is pretty pathetic, really. So there we go. And let's see what else we've got in the comments. Yeah, Colin says Spurs are winning 1-0 against Man United. I'm assuming that's still the score. I'll just quickly check on my phone. Yeah, still 1-0. Obviously, Southampton comfortably beat Norwich 3-0 earlier. So that was obviously a good result for Southampton. Wasn't necessarily a brilliant result for us. hopefully in the long run it won't really matter. This is the updated table after that game. So we have slipped to 14th as a result of Southampton winning, which is a shame. But we're still, we still got that 8-point cushion above Bournemouth, Watford and West Ham. So, and obviously Villa are now a point closer to us than they were before Wednesday. So, I don't know, what do people make about that? Are you worried about Southampton winning, or does it not really a factor? Was Southampton not really in the relegation scrap anyway? I don't think they were, personally. I think it was from Brighton downwards, although I do think that we are in danger of getting sucked in if we don't pick up points within the next few games. But I don't know what you think about that. So let's go back to the comments. Peter Robson, hopefully VAR misses all our illegal games. And Peter didn't want VAR or goal line technology in football. It needs the controversy. Well, it's getting the controversy with it, kind of more in a way. But I actually think goal line technology is perfect. I don't mind that. Hawkeye, it's brilliant if it works. Obviously, in the one game, it hasn't worked in one game, which is a shame. But I think Hawkeye is good because it's kind of like indisputable. It's black or white. It's either a goal or it's not. VAR, though, is a mess. I'm sure we can all agree on that. I don't know. I just think it's not good. So there we go. People asking about the takeover already. What's the latest with the takeover? Well, is the takeover still on? Yeah, I think it's still on, isn't it? I just think it's like Groundhog Day, isn't it? Every day. I mean, obviously this week we had a bit of change with the World Trade Organization report that came out. That was pretty interesting. Not as bad, I don't think, as a Newcastle fan. Not as damning as we thought it was going to be. Not as worrying as we thought it was going to be. Not a brilliant look for Saudi Arabia in general, but in terms of the takeover, I don't think that there's anything in there that could make the Premier League possibly rule out accepting it. But then you just honestly don't know what the Premier League are going to do, and that is the worry. That's the concern, isn't it? Obviously, we've had Dominic Raab, the Foreign Secretary. He came out quite publicly and basically said, thank you, Saudi Arabia, for sending loads of PPE equipment across, and great relations between the country in that respect. The government have got no interest in intervening in this, and I noticed that there was another letter sent from, I can't remember who it was from now. It's like the International Trade something or other. They sent a letter to the government urging them to block the deal based on the World Trade Organization report. I honestly think this government are not interested. They've got too many vested interests in Saudi Arabia, both probably personally, but also just as a country. We've got lots of stuff going on in Saudi Arabia, weapons deals and all that sort of dodgy stuff that isn't great, but that's the world we live in. The government they're not interested in blocking this. So it really is down to the Premier League, and you surely think now they've got to make some sort of announcement sooner rather than later. Now that this report from the World Trade Organization's out, it's got to happen soon. That's what I think. So I think it's on. I think it's okay. What do you lot think about this second American bid? Waiting in the wings, allegedly? I know I've talked to some of you about it, and I think the consensus among those of you who I have spoken about just all seem to think the same thing. I kind of mentioned it in my video that I put out yesterday. To me, it just seems a very odd time when they released I know it's kind of been in the background for a while, but I just think it was very strange that it came out the morning after the World Trade Organization report. And I know there's kind of conspiracy theories, isn't there, about how it's Qatar sort of involved. I don't know. I honestly don't know if that could be anything, but we will see. We'll see. So yeah, let me know what you think about the takeover in the comments, and we'll read some of those out as well. John, I've just noticed John, he says he's still positive about the takeover, maybe more so after the WTO report. But you stop watching the news as they keep repeating the same stories. Yeah, I kind of have too. And actually, before I put a video out on Sunday, which was about the takeover. It was my first one of the Takeover saga videos. If you've been watching them, if you haven't, go and watch them. And I had to kind of do a bit of research on the World Trade Organization, because I know I'd heard about them and this report coming, but I hadn't done any research into actually what it was. And when I looked and saw what their powers were, that kind of gave me more confidence, which I kind of mentioned in that video. But then obviously the report then came out 2 days later, and again, just not filled me with confidence, but didn't make me feel any worse about this takeover happening. So John, I'm kind of completely in the same view of, I've got the same view as you, basically. Jason Carter, he says the takeover was a good distraction from the lack of football. Now it's vice versa. The football is a distraction from the whole farce. How true is that? So pleased that football is back. And, you know, yeah, it's really sad that the takeover, kind of the excitement of the takeover has died down a bit, and it's kind of become it has just become tedious, hasn't it? We're all sick of week after week after week, day after day after day, the same thing. No news or anything, just more kind of negative stories in the press. And like I say, I think this is good advice. You know, I've stopped paying attention to the positive stories and the negative stories, because actually I genuinely don't think anyone really knows, apart from the Premier League, what is going on. So there we go. Mr. Obaid, hi, Mr. Smith. Hello. Thank you for joining me tonight. Anonymous Geordie wishes the takeover would be announced. Yeah, absolutely. Gary Hopper, rather stick with Ashley than this American. Again, the video I put out yesterday was kind of saying that. Not because this American guy might not be better, but just you've got to be realistic in the fact that there's no such thing as a sure thing. And we all thought Mike Ashley was going to come in and revolutionise the club, get us back to the top, have us competing at the top. And what's happened? He was awful. Look at the other American owners that have come into the Premier League. Apart from the Liverpool owners, every single one of them has been an absolute disaster. Just look at the Mackhams, look at Man United, you know, the richest club in the world, Man United, and so much in debt because the Glazers are just absolutely milking them dry. It's absolutely scandalous, actually, but that is what it is. And there was another American owner who was terrible, and I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. So just let me know what you think. Keith, evening to Keith. Thanks for your accurate and informative information. I try to be accurate. I try to actually just be really kind of level about it, and try not to get on the. I try not to get too hyped up, and I try not to get too low. I like to just. Otherwise, it just sends you mad. Otherwise, you just go insane, don't you? Let's see what else we have. Jonathan, he says that he thinks that it won't be much longer before we get the green light. I certainly think we might have another week or two, but I do think sort of by the end of June we will have an answer one way or the other. Anonymous Geordie, Richard Keys has hairy hands. Yes, he does. Although I did notice, actually, did anyone else notice this, genuinely? Richard Keys, very hairy man, we all know that. Did anyone notice that when it was... I was seeing clips of him sort of saying that he wished that the takeover wasn't happening to Newcastle, and he was wearing like a bright pink t-shirt. His arms clearly waxed all that hair off. I don't think he's got hairy hands anymore because they're waxed. There's no hair on them. Go back and watch the clips. I'm telling you. Andrew says some journalists are cheerleading for Qatar and don't seem to want the takeover to happen. There's definitely some journalists out there who don't want this to happen. That is a fact. There's no doubt about that. I mean, it's quite funny what's happened to Miguel Delaney this week. He's clearly been banned from discussing Newcastle now, hasn't he? He hasn't tweeted about Newcastle for a couple of days since he got his reprimand for posting that absolutely outrageous tweet, actually, about Hitler and the trains. That was just disgraceful. He's lucky to still have his job. So there we go. Jonathan saying Luke Edwards and Miguel Delaney's the worst. I don't mind Luke Edwards. I don't have a massive problem with him, but I think he does tend to be on the negative side of things rather than kind of the positive side of things. And he argues that that's kind of just him doing his job. But he definitely enjoys the negative, like he does. So yeah, you know, But yeah, I don't hate Luke Edwards in any. Miguel Delaney is an idiot, but Luke Edwards, I don't mind him. I think he's probably all right. He's just probably a bit of a negative person, maybe. I don't know. Jason, the American is another dodgy character. Spurs fan too. Oh, is he? I didn't know he was a Spurs fan. That went well for us last time, didn't it? Ashley, he's a Spurs. Is he a Spurs fan or is he Chelsea? I can never get it right. He claimed to be one, but not the other. I'm sure it was Tottenham spots. Yeah, Jason, Ellis Short, another terrible American owner. Just awful. Absolutely awful. Peter says, in an ideal world we stay up, new owners get a clean slate pre-season build, and Sunderland play Sunday League in a few years. Yeah, I think the thing is, we all want rid of Ashley. Absolutely, we all want rid of Ashley. And hopefully whoever buys the club, even if it's not the Saudis, will come in and improve us. And whether that they improve us to the level that we can compete at the top level of the game, or even if we just are a bit better than we are now and we try to win things, like win a cup, take competition seriously, then, that would be quite good. Mr. Abed, yesterday the PIF announced that they have taken over 70% of a huge oil company in Saudi, and they will announce Newcastle soon. Yeah, well, I mean, we hope so, but we're just still waiting. Hopefully it'll happen. Keith mentioning that we should buy Sunderland Stadium. We'll see. Right, did anyone have a guess at that question, or is it too difficult? Should I put it up again? Have a guess at this. Look, how many World Cup winners can you name who have either played or managed Newcastle? Hey, what do you reckon? Have a guess at that. I honestly thought of one, but there is. I'll give you a clue. There's 5 that we know of. So have a guess at that. Let's talk about the weekend's football. Let's get away from the takeover for a little bit. Who's excited about football starting again? Obviously, we've had a few games. Currently, Manchester United are losing at half-time to Tottenham, 1-0. I believe Tottenham scored a good goal. I haven't seen it, but I believe that they scored a decent goal. Jonathan, that question would be question 15 out of 15 on who wants to be a trillionaire. Well, the thing is, last week it was too easy. Have I gone too hard this week? I don't know. Have a guess. Come on, I think one of them's really obvious, but maybe that's just my age. My dad's got 3 so far. Well done, Dad. Golden. 2 are managers and 3 are players. I got one of the players. Have a guess. Go on. Let's have a look then. So, who thinks that we're going to start with a 4-4-2 formation this week? Is Bruce going to try and stick with it? I'll show you the formation we played the last time we played a game, which was against Southampton, and we won obviously 1-0. And we played this kind of 4-4-2 system. I mean, Almiron. Obviously, that graphic makes it look like Almiron was playing like left forward. I guess it's more of a 4-4-1-1. But do you think it's going to be similar to that? Obviously, apparently Gale. Now, I read conflicting reports about Gale. One said that he was doubtful, and one said that he was out. So I don't know. Does anyone have any official kind of confirmation on that? Yes, you can say the answers in the live chat. So do that, and Peter will keep an eye on the answers, and yeah, he'll keep you all right. So yeah, who thinks that we're gonna play this 4-4-2? I think that Bruce will stick. I think the team will be very similar to the one that's on screen at the moment. I think Richie's a doubt. Both the Longstaffs are out, so obviously that doesn't affect that lineup anyway. Dubravka apparently is fit, which is good news. Andy Carroll is fit. Do you think that, obviously, if Gale's out, do you think that he'll start with Joe Linton or Carroll? I think he'll start with Joe Linton if Gale's out. But we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Peter Robson, he thinks that he wouldn't play Rose, but he'd give Joe Linton 1 game before dropping him. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I'd like to see. I would really like to see what Joe Linton could do in a different formation where it kind of suits his game more. I would really like to see that. Like I've said before, maybe he's not worth £40 million probably, but that's not his fault. But you know, he's probably better than what we've seen as well. I think he's probably a bit better than what we've seen. So that's what I think. So Gordon says Ardiles and Givash. Now Stefan Givash was the one I got. So the one I got was Stefan Givash. So I know that is a correct answer. As is Ardiles actually. So Andrew's saying Gale started 3 games in a row before the lockdown. He improved us a lot. Yeah, I think I think I said this last week. I'm just going to go back to our fixtures that we've got remaining. So if I just put this up on the screen. So there are remaining games. I said this, and I kind of stand by this. If Gale's fit, put him in. Gale is a good Championship striker. Some of those teams that we have to play are, lower Premier League teams. So, upper Championship teams, if you like. So I think they're kind of games that might suit him. I think that they, even the Sheffield United game, I don't know how Sheffield United are going to come out tomorrow, on Sunday. I wonder, obviously they've had an amazing season, but I think it's kind of one of those amazing seasons that some promoted teams get when maybe they do a bit better than actually the reality of who they are as a team. So maybe Sheffield United, the break might not have been good for them. We don't know, obviously they might not. But then we've got teams like Villa, West Ham, Bournemouth, Watford, Brighton. All those games for me, they're games that you'd think a striker like Gale could do something. That's what I reckon. So we'll see. We'll see. Retro NUFC, hello. Nice that you're joining us. So what do you think? Do you think that Gale should start? Would you just drop Joe Linton as long as Gale's fit? What would you do? What would you do with that? What have we got in the comments as well? So a couple of people getting Givash and stuff now. Yeah, Peter, without the crowd pressure, maybe that'll help him. He must. I mean, and obviously the break as well. I mean, the thing is, I think his confidence. If you're a striker and you're not scoring, then you lack confidence. The break might have done him good. A fresh start, coming back in again. Maybe no crowd would be a good thing for him for a few games. Try and get him into some kind of rhythm and form. We'll see. But I don't know. I just don't like writing players off when they've not either had a fair shot or they've not really played. It's not even had one season. So I know it's the Premier League and you have to hit the ground running. You can't carry players. I get that, but I don't like writing players off too early. That said, I think if Gale is fit, I would probably play Gale, to be honest. Give him a shot for the last few games because he can't be any worse than what we've done. And like Andrew says, he came in and made a bit of a difference. So maybe he's earned that shot at playing. Mark Parker says he played Joe Linton up front with Gale. I don't think we've seen the best out of Joe Linton play up top on his own. He's looked sharp in the friendly games. Yeah. I think again, I kind of agree with that. That would be interesting. I guess who would you then leave out if you play Joe Linton and Gale? Who would you leave out? Obviously, you would keep I can't even say his name. Saint Maximan. You'd keep him in. You'd keep Almiron in. And then, I mean, let's just go back to the last team. So you've got Hayden, Shelvey, Rich. Obviously, Rich is doubtful, so maybe that would solve that problem if Gale's fit and Rich isn't. Who knows? People still guessing that question. Another clip. I'll give you the answer in a minute. I'll put you out of your misery, and then I'll give you a slightly easier one to have a go at. Maybe that was too hard tonight. I thought it was a good one because I couldn't get it, so it was tough. Jason says the football's been very lacklustre. The players seem to be just going through the motions. Hopefully it improves. The thing is, yeah, it's Bruce, isn't it, really? I know that people say Benitez played boring football as well. I've heard that argument. But it's different. It's different, in my view, because under Rafa, we knew what the plan was. We knew that Rafa played a certain way with the players he had to get results. And he did it. Bruce, in my opinion, just there's not that kind of like, what direction are we heading in here with Bruce? It's just kind of, yeah, we've got another game and we'll try and win it, but not play very well. And it's the lack of chances that we're creating. It's not great. It's not great. And Bruce came out today, or in his interview, saying that he'd been upset or whatever by the way he'd been treated in terms of his job in the takeover. But what does he expect, really? I mean, he's lucky to be managing in the Premier League. It's as simple as that. He's not a Premier League standard manager, and in my view, I think we're lucky to have the points we have. I'm glad we've got the points we have, but I do think that we're fortunate to have as many points as we do. Anonymous Geordie, Bruce plays part of the bus football, so Joe Linton is isolated. Yeah, exactly. And so this is what I'm saying about not writing a player off when he's not had a fair shot. You know, he's playing a role that he didn't play at his previous club. He never played as an out-and-out striker on his own. And then he's coming to the Premier League, which is a tougher league, and barely getting any chances. I mean, of course. I mean, yes, I know he's missed chances too, but you can't blame him for everything. But I just think some people are too quick to write him off. And Andrew NUFC, under Rafa, we were a lot better in possession. This season we give the ball away too easy. That's it. Rafa had them absolutely drilled to within an inch of their life, didn't he? And Peter saying, you know, Bruce is clear. Bruce has zero tactical knowledge, and you know, anyway, you know, he's just kind of, he is who he is, isn't he? He's a championship manager at best. Right, let's give you the answer to this question because I can see people still guessing. So let's go through the answers. So there we go. How many World Cup winners can you name who have either played or managed Newcastle United? So Ozzy Ardiles, Jack Charlton, George Eastham, who apparently was part of the squad, I believe. Peter will keep me right on this one. He was a 1966 non-playing squad member, but still got a medal. Then there was Tovan and Guy. So Tovan, again, another non-playing member of the France World Cup winning squad, but he still got a winner's medal. And there was Stefan Guivarch in 1998 as well. And that was, like I said, that was the only one I got. So there you go. Do you want something a little bit easier to have a go at? Have a go at this then. Guess this player. Guess this player. Who's that? Go on. First one in the comment will get a well done from me. Who's that? Who's that? Yeah, Jack Charlton, of course, managed us. He didn't play. He didn't play for us, did he? I don't think. Jonathan says, people who say negative football, etc., look at Atletico Madrid. They set up to defend and counter with investment in good players. Rafa would have had us competing for a top 7 place. I totally agree with that. Defensive football is often kind of criticised, isn't it? Because it's kind of not exciting. People tend to want to see attacking football, but actually, you know, it's a perfectly legitimate style of play. If you set up to be defensive and you can be successful with it, go for it. Look at Mourinho and all the success he had at Porto and then Chelsea. He did it by playing defensive football. Now, clearly, he had very good attacking players as well, so that he could set them up so that when they were on the counter, they would score goals because they had the players to do that. But essentially, you know, he won the Champions League with Porto, but they were awful to watch, and it spawned like a period of time where we had like Greece, who won the Euros by playing absolutely dreadful defensive football, and for a bit it was kind of the way to play. And then over the last sort of 10 years or so, we've kind of seen more attacking styles come back with kind of this all these fluid formations that have come into the game. And it's kind of led to more attacking football. Loads of people saying Bellamy. Yeah, so there you go. I feel better that you did that. So there you go. That was Craig Bellamy. That was Bellamy, that one. Anonymous Geordie saying, I think our defence is crap since Rafa left. I don't agree with that fully, if I'm honest, because if it wasn't for our defence, who I think actually, thankfully, are still actually not bad. If you look at the bottom half of the table, I think there's only one or two teams who've conceded fewer goals than us. I'm going to see if I can get the table up. So we've conceded 41, and so Brighton. Yeah, so there's only Brighton and Crystal Palace who've conceded fewer goals than us. So actually, I think our defence is not that bad, and it's actually the reason why we are still all right, and we are where we are, and we've got as many points as we have, because we don't score many, but the goals we've scored, when we score one goal, we've thankfully got a lot of results from either scoring one goal or possibly two goals. So thankfully the defence isn't that bad. Gordon says, tried to forget he managed us and succeeded. Yeah, it didn't go very well for Jack Charlton as manager of us, did he? He was an absolute nightmare. Did we get relegated under him, or did he leave before we got relegated? I don't actually know that. Mr. Abaid, here's the positive side. Every player will do his best in the next matches to prove himself as a hope to stay in the club if the takeover is completed. You'd hope so. You'd hope just to be raring to go anyway, just because the fact that they haven't played for 3 months, so they'll be itching to kind of get out there and win and play. But maybe some of them will be playing for their futures. It'll be really interesting to see. Anonymous Shah has been bruised. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know. He's still a great player in my opinion. And actually, there's a few players that in that squad that you would want to keep, even if there was a takeover. In my view, you know, you've got a spine of a team there that you could build around. You've got Dubravka, Cher. Who else have we got? We've kind of got. I mean, I don't know whether you build this team around them, but Matty Longstaff, Sean Longstaff, you'd like to give them a bit longer just to see if they could be a part of the team in the future. You've got Almiron, who I think Almiron put better players around Almiron, and I think he will be a great player. What do you think about that? Anonymous, I think the 5-0 loss to Leicester and 4-0 against the mediocre Man United proves Bruce is clueless. Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, we've had big defeats, haven't we, over the years? But if you take those results out, then our goal conceding record is even better. So you can argue that our defence is actually not that bad. So there you go. Yeah. So Gordon, we've been decent defensively and agree it's the reason we are where we are. Yeah, we want to be thankful for our defence being fairly solid. It's kind of, otherwise we would be in the relegation zone. Gary Hammett, I don't know if I've said hi to you, Gary. Hello. The only downside with the NUFC is the strikers were 100% lack of where we can't rely on one player where Newcastle will get their one. I think what you're saying is, like, we can't rely on a single player to score us a goal. Like, we don't have that player in our squad who can just magic something and make something happen and get a goal. And I agree with that. I mean, if you look, really, we got rid of Perez and Rondon last season, who were our two top scorers, and we replaced them, you know, with Joe Linton. And why? I mean, it's just the fact we didn't bring Rondon back was just ridiculous. Because imagine in this team if we had Rondon, I think we'd probably be even higher up the league. I think we'd have more points. It was such a shame that we didn't buy him. It really was. Spurs are still winning 1-0. Yeah, I'm not actually watching that match, but I've got it. I've just got the scoreline up there. It would be interesting to see how Man United finish this season, and then what happens with Solskjaer after that. I'm still amazed that they've signed him to a long-term contract. So Gordon Smith, he's going on about Jack Charlton here. So he left in 1985 because he was getting flack for the awful football he was playing and pushing out Waddle Beardsley. And apparently, like Dalglish, took a really exciting team and made it boring in one season, which is quite an achievement. But Kenny Dalglish did it for Newcastle as well after Keegan, didn't he? Okay. Right, let's have a little quick go at the second question. Let's see if you can get this one. So, Alan Shearer once scored 5 goals in a single game against Sheffield Wednesday. It was Bobby Robson's first home match in charge in 1999. We obviously won 8-0. But in the Premier League era, this is a record he shares with 3 other players. Who are they? Who are they? That is a good question. 3 other players have scored 5 goals in a single Premier League game. Who are they? So I'll leave that one with you for a bit. Andrew said, I really like Gale, but it's just his injuries which let him down. He had a spell of 15 games in a row under Rafa and played well, proper striker. Yeah, we bought Carroll as well, that's just remembered. We replaced Rondon and Perez with Carroll and Joe Linton. Anyway, yeah, so going back to Gale, maybe give him a run of games and keep him injury free, then maybe you can do some stuff. So Andrew says Aguero, Mark Parker says Andy Cole v Ipswich. That is one of them. Andy Cole is one of them against Ipswich when they won 9-0. By the way, I predicted at the start of this season that a team this season would score 10 goals in one game. And did Liverpool win a game 9-1 or 9-0 or something? They got really close to it happening, and I thought I was going to get it right, but it hasn't happened yet. I'll be happy if it happens, as long as it's not against Newcastle. Not with our solid defence, it won't happen. No chance. Mr. Obey, I'm a new Newcastle fan. I want to know enough about this club history, best players championship. Go and check out my videos. I've done a couple of videos recently. One about Kevin Keegan, one about Bobby Robson, who were 2 of Newcastle's best ever managers. Keegan was also one of Newcastle's best ever players. So go and look at those videos. That's probably a good place to start. I've also done videos about my favourite ever Newcastle games, favourite home games and away games that I've been to. So go and check those videos out. Shameless plug. By the way, thank you very much if you're all subscribers. I'm up to about 920 subscribers, which honestly I'm amazed by, but I'm grateful for, and I'm glad that we're kind of building this little community here, which is awesome. You might notice I'm wearing my Newcastle pin badge, which I gave away last week during my live show. Gave that away. Holly won that, so I sent that out to her yesterday, so hopefully she'll get that either today or tomorrow. But I've also got NUFC, the pin badge, what is it? NUFC Pins 1 on Twitter. That's a Dubravka badge. I can't show you any closer because it's on my shirt, but I bought 2, so I've got another one to give away, and it's awesome. So there it is. So what my plan is, when I get to 1,000 subscribers, which I'm hoping is pretty soon, I'm going to give that away, and I might bundle it in with something else. So please spread the word about this channel. If there's people that you know that you think would like the content on this channel, please go and tell them about it. Spread the word. And when I get to 1,000, where is it? There. I'm going to give that Dubravka badge away, along with something else. Possibly another pin badge, actually, because there's another one coming out soon. So by the time that happens, maybe I'll have that. If not, I'll find something else to put with it, and I'll give that away. So thank you for that. And also, please, if you haven't already, I know a lot of you follow me on Twitter, and that's brilliant. I'm going to keep using Twitter. I'm not coming off there. But I'm starting to use Instagram more and more. So if you've got an Instagram account, go and follow me on Instagram, because I'm really enjoying using that. And I think I'm up to about 45 people following me on there. Happy to follow back, of course. And yeah, I'm posting things on the story on there quite a bit. So go and follow me on Instagram because it's really good. I've also got a group on Facebook which I'm trying to build up as well, where you can go and chat about football, and there's a few people on there. But yeah, if I can direct you to Instagram in the first instance, that would be lovely. So yeah, get on that. And 922. Thanks, Peter. Yeah, and counting. So it's cool. It's really awesome. I'm really pleased. And it does, honestly, like, I kind of can't believe what's happened over the last 2 or 3 months, but I am very grateful to you all, so thank you. Gary Hammett, back in 1994, who was in goal and who was the shirt number 8, 9, 10? In 1994, well, Andy Cole would be number 9, Beardsley would be 8, 10 would be Lee Clark, I would think. I would guess. Am I right, Gary? So there you go. Peter, how are people getting on with the question? Have we got all the right answers yet? Have we got the right answers to this? So Shearer scored 5 goals in one game against Sheffield Wednesday. In the Premier League era, this is a record he shares with 3 others. Who are they? Yeah, honestly, I can promise you, Peter, there's no dodginess going on. It'll be a Newcastle related thing. Okay, keep it clean. Ewan, do you think the Newcastle United takeover will happen? We have talked about this earlier in the stream, but essentially, yes, I do. I do think it will happen. When it will happen, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine on that one, but I do think it will happen. I think I'm more confident it'll be the Saudis than any other bidder. I think it will be the Saudis, but obviously until we have confirmation, there's always that doubt that it might not happen. But we'll see. Oh, Gary Hopper says Jermaine Defoe. That is a good shout. That is one of the answers. Trev, thank you. Appreciate that comment. Can't take much more of this roller coaster of a takeover. Yeah, I think we're all kind of at that point. We just want an answer one way or another, just so that we know where we stand. So we just want to know, is it happening or is it not? And if you're going to reject it, fine, we can move on. It'll be absolutely crushing, but at least we can move on if that happens. At least we can move on. Number 10 was Rule Fox. Okay. Yeah. In 1994. And goal was Pav. Great. Pav. Love Pav. Rest in peace. Brian Lou, if the takeover happens, who should be our first signing? I honestly don't know. I mean, we've been linked with so many players. Who knows what's real? Who knows who we could possibly attract? There's just so many variables. Who would you have, Brian? Who would your first signing be? If I turn the question back on you. Anonymous says a new manager should be our first signing, and I'm pretty sure that it would be. I do think Bruce would be out. I do think he would be out. You got all of them. Brilliant. So the answers were, well done. Who said Berbatov then? Who got Berbatov? I didn't see that one go on. So yeah, there we go. So Andy Cole, Berbatov and Defoe. Someone put Aguero. Did Aguero score 5 in a game? Maybe check that. He scores a lot of goals, doesn't he? So there we go. Got them all. De Bruyne. Oh man, imagine getting De Bruyne. That'd be awesome. No chance of that happening. But yeah, that'd be really awesome, wouldn't it? There we go. So, what do you reckon at the weekend then? Score predictions, everyone. Newcastle versus Sheffield United. What do you reckon? What's the score going to be? I think that the game is going to be low scoring because it's Newcastle. Sheffield United also don't necessarily score loads of goals. I think that, obviously, we're at home. Who knows whether home advantage is a thing when there's no crowd? Because, I mean, the German League's had some funny results, so it's going to be really interesting to see if the Premier League kind of follows suit and that there's lots of away wins that you wouldn't necessarily expect. Not that Sheffield United winning at us would be a massive shock this season. So I think it'll be tight. I would be happy with a point, if I'm honest. I would take a draw. But I do think we might nick it. And I think and if we do nick it, it'll be 1 goal. I think it'll be 1-0. So lots of people saying same sort of thing. So NUFC Joe thinks we'll win 2-1. Paul thinks we'll win 1-0 like me. Andrew reckons we'll draw 1-1. Brian Luke says 2-1 as well. Jabba Dabba Doo. NUFC 4, Sheffield United 2. I want some of what you're drinking, mate. 4-2. I mean, if that happens, I will hands up. You know, that would be brilliant. But 4-2 would be amazing. It'd be great if we won 4-2. It would be incredible. A Joe Linton hat-trick as well. That would be amazing. Imagine what people would say if that happens. Mark says 1-1. Robert Lee says 2. I'm guessing that's 2-0 maybe? Do you mean 2-0? Sky Sports just announced Richie and Gale are injury doubts. Yeah, okay, yeah. So I'd read that Gale was out in one report. I think BBC said he was out and Sky said he was a doubt, or the other way around. So it sounds like he's doubtful. So he probably won't play. Gordon Smith says, dull game with 1 goal either way. That's probably the most accurate prediction there'll be. It will be a boring game, so prepare yourself for that. Bruce Ball and all that. Oh, yeah, 2-0, Robert Lee said. Jabba Dabba Doo drinking brown ale. Good on you. I've just got a big mug of water with the BFG on. Peter Robson thinks 0-0. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it ended 0-0. Genuinely wouldn't surprise me. The defence will save us a point. I think if we score the first goal, we will get a result. We might draw, we might win. But like I say, I hope we can just nick it 1-0. That's what I hope. So there we go. Before I go, I'm going to go in a few minutes. I've got a couple more guess the players for you. So I tried to make these difficult, but every time I downloaded the pictures, they always seem to look easier than when I had them in the editor. So just give these a quick go. So which former Newcastle player is this? Who's that? Hi, Kian. Nice of you to join us. Kian, he's in Ireland, is Kian, and he's going to try and get his dad to bring him across to watch a Newcastle game when crowds can come back. So let's hope that happens for Kian, because that'd be awesome. Would that be your first ever game, Kian? I think Kian's about 12 or 13, so it could be. I think it could be his first game. Let us know, Kian. But yeah, hopefully that'll happen for you. Lots of people. Did anyone get it wrong? Enrique. All saying Enrique because it's easy, isn't it? And that was the one that I thought was going to be tricky. So the other ones you should probably easily get. It is, of course, Enrique. Best left back we've ever had, according to someone. Where's that comment gone? Oh, Andrew at the bottom. Yeah, best left back we've ever. He was awesome, wasn't he? I loved Enrique. I really did love him. He was a great player. And I know he kind of left under a cloud, but if you read, there was a really interesting interview with him in The Athletic recently. I think it was The Athletic. And he was basically saying how gutted he was with the way he left the club and how the fans didn't... how kind of the fans perceived the way he left the club as bad. And he was really disappointed about that. Sounds like he didn't really want to leave in a sense, but because of what was happening at the club at the time, that's what happened. But yeah, he was a great player. I really loved watching Enrique. He was a good player. So well done for all of you who got that right. That's a good one. Let me put one more up. I'll just do one more. Again, hopefully. I'm just looking at it now and it's like, maybe that's a bit too easy again, but we'll see. Kian says that it would be his first ever Newcastle game. So that's awesome. Good luck to you, Kian. I hope you get there, and I hope we can have crowds back in stadiums. Maybe at the turn of the year. 2021, we'll have some more stuff. More stuff going on. Tottenham still winning 1-0. Is that full time? Is that why people are messaging me that? Or is it still 1-0? Yeah. So Gaza, Watson. Okay, I'll let a few more people guess who that is. Just while that's on the screen and before I go in the next couple of minutes, just out of interest, obviously at the moment a lot of my content on the channel is surrounding Newcastle news, and it's kind of it's to camera and all that sort of thing. But what kind of content would you guys watch? What would you like to see on the channel? Let me know, because I've got some ideas, but I would obviously really like to know what you want to see, because I'd like to make content that you lot want to see, as well as what I want to make. So please let me know. So let's see. So Jabba Dabba says Gaza. It's not Gaza. Mark Parker says Watson, Batty, Steve Howie. Oh, that one's good then. That's confused a few people. Yay. I got one that confused people. One person has got it right. Is it just one person that's got it right? Let me see. Jason Carter says Watson. Jabba Dabba says Lee Clark. But Mark Parker and Jason Carter both said Steve Watson. And it is. Versatile, Geordie, Steve Watson. Can anyone remember Steve Watson's amazing goal at Anfield when we played in the League Cup and he chipped the goalkeeper? Was it David James? I think it was. That was awesome, wasn't it? That was the last time we won at Anfield, you know. I was chatting to my dad about that the other day. The last time we won a game at Anfield was in about I think it was 1994 or 1995. It must have been 95 actually, because I think it was the same season we lost 4-3 at Anfield. I'm sure my dad will be along in a minute to just correct me if I'm wrong. It was certainly 94 or 95. I think it was 95. Yeah, and that was the last time we won a game at Anfield. Steve Watson was the goal scorer. So that's a bit of trivia for you. Kean says, make a video on opinion, the best Premier striker, Shearer. Yeah, so obviously I've made 2 videos about Keegan and Robson, so legends of Newcastle. My 3rd video in that series is going to be about Alan Shearer, so that'll be quite cool. And we said previews and reviews. Okay, that's, yeah, stuff we can do. Like I said, I've got some ideas that I really want to do, and when I can get out and about, that's obviously going to help provide different types of content. The Ginger Ninja Watson, yeah, he was a good player, versatile, could play at right back and in the centre of defence if needed, but mainly a right back. But he's decent and a local lad. And it was really interesting because I was reading kind of obviously Man United had that team that dominated in the 90s who had lots of homegrown players, but Keegan had that team who, when you think about it, we had quite a few homegrown players too. We had like Watson, Lee Clark, and then all the other players whose names have gone out of my head. But we had a few like local lads as well who kind of came into the team and were there for a few years. We need to get that back. We need those local lads. And I just wonder if, I don't know if Matty Longstaff and Sean Longstaff are going to be good enough. They're certainly good enough if this takeover doesn't happen, I would argue that, you know. But, you know, you want to have that academy. You want those local players to come through. So hopefully they will. Jason, a video on the entertainers would be good. Interesting. I've not thought of that. That might be a good idea, yeah. Favourite free kicker? Yours is Laurent Robert. He was amazing. But then we had Robert and Solano at the same time and Shearer. All 3 of those could take an amazing free kick. How do you even pick? I do have a favourite, but I'm not going to tell you in case I make that video. Best goal I've ever seen in a game, Kian. So that's a good question. I think I did a video on that. So go and have a look. Go and watch that. So it was, yeah. So the Watson goal at Anfield was November 1995, and we were late. We couldn't get parked in Liverpool. We were late, but we did see Newcastle win, and that's the happiest memory I've got at Anfield because we were also later in that season, April 96. We lost to Liverpool 4-3. I was also at that game. We were on the second row in the away end, and I can see Collimore's goal as clear as day from really low down at the other end of the pitch, and I saw Collimore coming across and scoring that goal. Sickening, absolutely awful. There we go. Kian says Shearer v Everton, best goal. Cisse v Chelsea. Yeah, I wasn't at the game where Cisse scored that goal. You'd probably argue that's right up there with the best Newcastle goals ever. But I was there for Shearer's volley in the Gallagher end, and it was unbelievable. And it is just unbelievable. Thanks, Andrew, about the Keegan and Robson videos. If you haven't checked those out, go and watch them. I'm really proud of them. The Bobby Robson one took me ages to do, but I was quite happy with it. So if you haven't watched it, go and have a watch of that. And Peter says he cried at the Bobby Robson video. That's awesome. You know, I must admit I got emotional putting the end bit of that video together and just reminding myself of how Man United have equalised. It's 1-1. Putting that together with the end of the Bobby Robson video, the way he was sacked by the club, and then obviously a few years later having cancer again, and then sadly dying. Very emotional. And looking back, it was ridiculous that he was sacked when we finished 5th. And what should have happened was we should have cleared out those troublemakers in the squad. You know, the likes of Dyer, Bellamy, whoever it was who was causing all those issues. They're the ones that should have gone. And we should have trusted Bobby Robson to rebuild. Even if those players were favourites, we should have trusted Bobby Robson to rebuild, get rid of the rotten apples and let Robson deal with it. But we didn't, and we sacked him. And sadly, you know, some fans were happy with that. They were at the time, and I think people do forget that. But anyway, it's sad the way it kind of ended for Robson at Newcastle. But what a guy he was! You know, he's just brilliant guy. So go and watch that video because I am proud of that video. So go and have a watch of that. Yeah, Peter Robson says best goal Shearer of Everton. Yeah, and the Tiote goal, that was a heck of a goal. I was at that game as well. Very good. Right, I'm going to sign off. Thank you very much for watching. I do absolutely appreciate everyone tuning in, subscribing. Like I said, please go and spread the word about the channel. I'm going to try and get to 1,000 subscribers. Kind of blows my mind, but thank you. And when I do, that Dubravka badge, not that one, I've got another one, that'll be on its way to somebody, along with possibly something else, because I think 1,000 deserves maybe something a bit more than that. So thank you very much. And also go and check out, get on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, go and follow me, please, which is there. I'm going to see you really soon for another live stream, and thank you for watching. Come on, Newcastle. Let's beat Sheffield United. Come on.